Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. We are continuing today to discuss the Affidavit of Probable Cause signed by Detective Brett Payne of the Moscow Police Department on December 29th, 2022. This is a very important document, in my opinion. It is effectively document number 1 on the court case known as State of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger. It can be found within the court records that have been provided free of charge to the public by the Idaho Supreme Court on a website entitled Idaho Cases of Interest. Page 18, which is the last page that we're almost at this point, asked for and successfully obtained the warrant for Mr. Kohberger's arrest on December 29th, 2022. At this time, we're going to pick up where we left off in the last episode towards the bottom of page 16, which leads into page number 17, where Detective Payne is describing the movements of Mr. Kohberger's cellular phone. Bottom of page 16, Detective Payne writes, at approximately 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef's store located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe showed a white Elantra consistent with suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cellular data from the 8548 phone. Next full paragraph. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cellular data in the area of the Albertsons grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra, consistent with suspect vehicle 1 at approximately 12:49 p.m. Interior surveillance cameras showed Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohberger's possible path of travel is depicted below, and then in parentheses, not to scale. And then directly underneath that verbiage is the final, what Detective Payne had previously called a depiction. And here you can see that page number 17 ends with this depiction. We're going to stop at this point with our discussion of page number 17. And if I could add a few comments, some opinions, this is my complete speculation, rhetorical questions that we ask and that we say pursuant to the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. First, there has been some surveillance video that was released to the public that is available for you to review if you plug in a search term asking, for example, video of Mr. Kohberger. This appears to be video that was obtained from some of these businesses that are described here. showing, for example, a car that Detective Payne is saying is consistent with suspect vehicle 1 driving through a parking area in a shopping center. These are from after the timeline of the crimes as stated by the PCA earlier of 4 a.m. through 4:25 a.m. November 13th, 2022. Secondly, I wanted to point out that this is now the second time in this PCA where Detective Payne is not calling the cell phone that law enforcement believed belonged to Mr. Kohberger as the 8458 phone. This is the second time it's being referred to as the 8548 phone. You can see this designation. It's contained in line number 4, page number 17. A key piece of evidence, in my opinion. In the PCA, it was determined that Mr. Kohberger had been stopped by law enforcement while driving in August of 2022. And at that time, it was determined what his cellular phone number was. And it ended, according to Detective Payne here in the PCA, with the numbers 8458. And throughout the PCA, he is referred to that phone when addressing warrants that were sought from the provider AT&T, a pen trap and trace device that was sought in terms of another warrant tied to this phone, the 8458 phone. But now we see for the second time it's referred to as the 8548 phone, which begs the rhetorical question, was this now a second typographical error, or is the MPD, Moscow Police Department, through Detective Payne, who is signing this document under oath to obtain a warrant for Mr. Kohberger's arrest, talking about two separate telephones? We will continue on in our next and final episode, looking at the PCA 3 years later. I hope that you will join us then. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.